At every wedding, there are some toasts. So if you are a best man, maid of honor, family member, and it's going to be your responsibility to give some of those toasts, here are some tips to help make it a little bit smoother for you. So before the big day, here are some tips to help you through that process. First of all, make sure you write your speech out. Now, I know some people say, I'm better if I wing it, or I'm just going to get up there and just, speak from the heart. That is great, but that does not always work. Unless you're a professional speaker or a comedian by nature, you need to have it written out. You also need to practice it because you want to make sure that when you're standing up there, you're not just reading from a piece of paper. Be authentic. People can tell if you are not being true to you. So if you are naturally funny or you are sentimental and emotional, let that show. People know who you are, and if you're not representing who you really are, it comes across kind of awkward. Make sure you keep it brief, 2 to 3 minutes max. If you get any further than that, people start to get bored. Wait until after you do your toast to start partying hard. Once had a groomsman that got up to do a speech, and he was so drunk, people couldn't understand what he was saying. And finally, remember who your audience is. If you're going to be telling any kind of stories, just make sure that it's family friendly or at least appropriate for the audience that's going to be there. These tips will definitely help making the toast that much smoother. So here's some tips for the day of the wedding. When you are about to walk up there, make sure you have a drink with you. Many times what happens is people get up there, they start to do their speech, and then they're like, uh-oh, I don't have a drink to do the toast to. So make sure you have a drink that's right there next to where you're going to be talking. Make sure you stand next to the couple. Don't walk around while you're giving your toast because the photographer and the videographer are going to want to make sure that they get a shot of you next to the couple so they can see their reactions to everything. Very important, hold the microphone up to your mouth, about 1 inch to 2 inches away. If you go any further, people aren't going to be able to hear you, and or you're going to get some sort of interference. So make sure it's right up to your mouth. It's going to feel weird, but trust me, it's necessary. Finally, you don't need to introduce yourself. The DJ or the MC of the band, they will introduce you when they have you come up. They're gonna say, oh, here's the father of the bride. So you don't need to stand up there and be like, hi, I'm the father of the bride. It's redundant and it's just not something that you need to do. Do not talk about how much you hate public speaking. A lot of times people will get up there and say, oh, I'm so nervous, or oh, I hate public speaking. Everybody does, nobody loves it. And so it just makes people a little bit more uncomfortable. Just go up there and start your speech. People will love it. This should go without saying, but do not bring up negative things. Don't talk about breakups. Don't talk about exes. Don't talk about fights. You want to keep everything positive and upbeat. You don't want to make the couple uncomfortable. And finally, close it by saying, let's raise our glasses and toast the couple. A lot of times people finish their speech and the guests don't know whether or not they're supposed to be toasting or not. So just be very clear that it's time for everybody to raise their glasses. Here's some tips on different things that you can bring up during your toast. Relationship. How do you know the couple? When did you meet? How did you know that they were the right ones for each other? Talk about the stories that you were involved in. Childhood stories. If you grew up with one of them, talk about what it was like growing up together and what forged y'all's relationship. Words of wisdom. What can you share to help them have a long and lasting marriage? Famous quotes. Just be careful that you don't list too many of them because then it gets a little bit boring. But if there's a quote that you think pertains to their relationship or pertains to love, add that in there. Finally, always end on a positive note. Tell the couple how much you love them and then go into, let's raise our glasses for the toast. Feel free to share this with anyone in your bridal party that might be giving the toast.